You don't really have to like push yourself to accept other people for who they are if you cannot, like in the moment. It's just it's okay if you don't accept them. Like I realize, like it's enough. It's enough to just like see their value, like try to see their value, give some respect to what they're doing, at least, and then just move on. You don't even have to like be friends with them. Yeah, it's like you're a yogi or something. Like, oh please, like you have to accept everyone, or just like, yeah, I'm not Jesus. Like in the end, I understand. Like it's really hard.
Welcome to Facing Love. Why is it so hard to accept people? I will tell you who Sachiko is. Sachiko is a cool person. She is DJ Sachiko, first and foremost. You can find her mixes on SoundCloud with the username Sachiko Winslow, right? And on Instagram as well. She also makes really beautiful art, surreal, beautiful, like mystic, and photography mostly, and film as well. And recently she's also dived into some nice psychology and dived deeper into that area as well. So we are here to see the depths and the discoveries she has made with her dive.
The exam.
You also do henna.
Also she does henna and jagua, which actually I will get soon. Yes,
After
please,
the-
here.
After the episode, there's gonna be a henna session.
So what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about accepting people.
As they are.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's difficult.
Yeah,
Do you
because
think it's
I
difficult?
wanted to ask you why this topic, because you're the one who was like, me and Sachiko were talking about this and this and this. And yeah.
Okay, so my experience has been, and I've done a lot of work in this area, trust me, that I would judge people a lot based on what I believed they should be like. Because, we all have certain ways of being, certain ideals, and my judgment was mostly on stupid everyday things rather than on the deep, oh my god, you believe this, I can't, It was more like, oh, you have to clean the dishes this way, or oh, you have to live this way, you have to, you just can't. And it was really hard for me to just accept, like, no, they can't. They can be however they want to be, and I went through this realization and learning all of this, that it's okay, people can be however they want to be, and I need to accept that, and we are all different, and it's okay, not everyone is gonna be doing the things the way that I am doing them, and that doesn't mean they're wrong. So yeah, that was something, and I feel like me and Alexandra, we discussed about it because also we talk about stuff like but yeah, that was it. That was mostly it. So we talked about it, like the ideas of why it's so hard and what makes us, judge them, or all of that. It's a big topic.
Yeah, super big.
Super
I think
big.
super hard as well, and super like I'm still like figuring this out. Like I'm still
Yourself.
not like accepting people and just realizing. I think like layers and layers about the possibilities of that and what is possible for me, and how can I just direct this in my life, not to spend like too much energy on this. So when was the last time we were talking about this? Actually, do you remember?
Actually, it's been
Was
some
it like
time.
last
to be
year or
honest.
something? I think it was
been
last
some time,
year or
yeah.
something.
Because we've already done all this work, so we no longer have to talk about it. No, but probably it's been some time.
Yeah, I think it changed definitely like since last time, but I can say that I also had and still have like a lot of problems with just like with this. Yeah, like every day. I think it's not.
For sure.
It just still pops out, and I realize as well that you don't really have to push yourself to accept other people for who they are if you cannot, like in the moment. It's okay if you don't accept them. Like I realize, like it's enough you know, it's like maybe it's enough to just like see their value, like try to see their value, give some respect to what they're doing, at least, you know, and then just move on, you know. You don't even have to like be friends with them. Yeah, it's like you're a yogi or something, like, oh please, like you have to accept everyone, or just like, yeah, I'm not Jesus, like in the end I understand, like it's really hard. Yeah, I think it also comes maybe to like, I think accepting yourself first maybe comes first, and then you can maybe accept also others, because I think most of the people as well don't really accept themselves for who they are, you know, just like...
We get into it already.
Yeah.
The deep stuff. You see what I was telling you? The deep stuff, this is it.
Yeah, it's about, yeah, I don't know what's about, what precisely is about this, but I think before you can accept others, for me it was like, oh, I actually have to accept myself for who I am, because every time, still, sometimes when I do something, or when I see myself doing something, or when I just communicate something, there is like this judgmental part of me inside of like, you did this wrong, or you said this wrong, or I don't like how you look, or oh my god, you look so whack, or like this what you did, like it's still there, like it's internal, and I think we need to like make conversation with that part of ourselves which always like wants to judge, because I think here we have to kind of let go of that judgmental part and just be kind of neutral first before you start to accept. So you have to go from the minus of being judgmental to like zero, like, oh, I'm actually like, it's okay, like I don't want to give any opinion on that, I just want to see the value maybe in the person. Then you kind of go into plus, and it's something like a scale, you know, is how I also see and can relate to that, I guess. Yeah,
the way I relate to this is you know, when we go out into natural spaces, like in a forest, we're not judging the trees, or we're not judging animals or whatever for being themselves. Like even if an animal, or for instance, if it's being annoying, like a cat is being, you're like, okay, fine, this is just what they are doing, you know, how they're expressing themselves. But we place so much judgment towards human beings because we have this thing of assuming that people think like us, I think. Like the thing for the washing of the dishes, because I also encounter situations like this. I'm like, how could they do this? Because I'm assuming that they should have done it the way that I would have done it, or are they seeing it from my perspective? No, all these things going in my head, not completely forgetting that they're their own entity, they're their own, they have their own existence. So I really wonder though why it's so drilled in that we all believe that we should be the same. Like we should think like the other person should think like me, or no, and then go on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe we're just so close-minded to the idea that as we grow up, we learn how to do things from someone else.
Yeah.
And we also see that person as our example. Yeah, the paradigm. Yeah. So that's our whole reality, basically. We don't have a reality beyond that. That's all we know.
Yeah.
So when for the first time we encounter someone who is different, we're just like, what? What do you mean different? I've never had different before. I was in my bubble all this time, in my reality where, oh, this is done like this is how you are, these are the characteristics you need to have, like this was my reality. So when we encounter the different, we're like, different, and as human beings we have a very big problem with the different, because it's like a threat, right? When something is different from me, you're just like, yo, do we have to fight? Like, are you gonna try and kill me? Because that's in our DNA almost, you know. So probably, that's how I see it, that the first encounter with the different is like so shocking that I guess we just want to minimize it, maybe. And
wow, and it goes to show that people are really mostly afraid of each other, because we don't do that with other things.
Yeah,
it's
the human species.
When we find difference in each other, it's like, oh shit.
Because it's the contradiction between how similar we are and yet how different. Because when we look at each other, we're like, you and me, we're the same. We talk, we laugh, we I can see our similarities so clearly, you know, human beings in comparison to a cat, as we said. So it's like, it's so similar. It should be like me. And then there's this expectation of, you should be like me. And then it's not. And we're like, what do you mean you're not like?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was, the shock of someone being so different, even in values.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's deep. Like, but yeah, I really like what you said with the accepting yourself. It's very much rooted in that, I think.
Yeah, because I think at the core, what I just experienced, like at the core, like how much healing, like there is healing been done and this and this, and there is still some parts that you cannot like accept about you. And I think because you maybe want to be also in a specific way, or you maybe see all your life yourself in this way, and then suddenly you see yourself from the side and you realize, oh, actually I'm like that. Or you're trying to maybe become somebody else, or maybe try to look like that person or act like that person because you like him or her, and then it's all kind of, I think, to me also going to that direction. And about seeing something different and in others, and really not accepting that. I truly had this, still have it actually, but I think last year was like the moment when I started like first looking into that, because I noticed like, why am I so annoyed when somebody does this thing, and I'm just not, because I wouldn't do that, you know. So in my reality, this is not how I would behave, or. And then I also learned about, you know, the shadow kind of side that people just show you, because usually when you cannot accept something in other person, something you don't allow yourself to do as well. So he's just showing you, oh, this is a side you are kind of neglecting, because in the end you have to also kind of see, like just realize, wow, like, okay, at this stage of my life I was like this and I needed to be like this, but then you grow and you develop and you realize that there is like the whole spectrum of things you can, of the qualities that you can live through, that you can use, and experiences that you maybe never had before, but there is so much more to that. And I don't know why I wanted to say that. It's just the spectrum of possibilities, who you can be and how you can feel, and you.
It
there
expands.
Is no. It expands.
You can allow it to expand.
You can just choose. And for me, it was just so also hard to understand this when I first heard this concept. Like, what do you mean if I don't accept your, like, for example, craziness? I'm not crazy. What do you mean? Like, my ego was like, no fucking way. I just don't like you. And usually it's other way around. You just don't accept this part in yourself, because as soon as you get to that point of like allowing yourself being a little bit crazy and just stop judging that person, you finally understand, like, oh, actually. Now I'm like this, and I just needed to experience that side which I was maybe suppressing, you know, for some time.
Yeah.
But there is also a really like fine thing to that, like which I recently started to think. For example, if I don't like how somebody does or behaves, or maybe how is the house is clean of that person, I think this is whack or something. I think maybe you don't accept it to yourself. Kind of you chose to be not like that. For example, you choose to be clean instead of tidy. No, you choose to be clean instead of not clean, not tidy. So that's also like okay, you know, in a way that you just don't accept that type of life, you know, that way of life. Like maybe you're not even aware of you're not accepting. You just chose not to be that, like because you experience this and you understand. No, I actually rather prefer to be clean, but there's still that kind of saltiness, or just like. Or maybe less saltiness then? What do you think? Like when you...
I think about it like, there are like boundaries involved sometimes, rather than just projection.
Yeah, that's what I also thought,
that's,
you know?
When do we know which is which? Like, can we first actually talk about more this idea of how when we are judging someone and not accepting them, specifically something about them, it's really connected to
the self.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, like, how do you guys personally now? Okay, how do you work on now accepting yourself? Because that's a big thing. In this multidimensional. But how do you personally have a practice of this in order to not judge people? What's your journey with this
Well,
been like?
okay, the journey is easier to
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah.
With not judging others?
With not judging
Yourself.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm still judging myself.
Right? Yeah. It's
I'm
still
still punishing myself.
You like
Come here,
you're judging yourself as much as you were last year, for instance.
No.
Yeah,
In
it
comparison,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what happened?
awareness.
Mm.
Just like everything else, awareness.
Mm.
I guess suddenly the realization of understanding, oh, wait a minute, why am I so harsh on myself? And why am I hating myself when I do something, that's not right or not good or whatever? And then, researched into it and I was like, oh, maybe it's not helping me actually. Maybe it's just making me feel worse. But I actually judged one time Alexandra.
I mean, I judged you as well. I think it's okay. Like, it would be funny to say we didn't judge. Like, of course, I judged all my friends. Like, honestly, if you want to, like,
I want to share that
all my
story.
friends,
You
I
feel-
have a
you feel
thing.
comfortable if I share that story?
yeah.
I mean, it's not about you.
Thanks
yeah.
for asking, by the way. This is a really good point of communication. Because without asking, you actually are not allowed to give feedback because you kind of degrade a person in the eyes of others.
Yeah. Although that's the story, that it's not.
But be
it
kind
shouldn't
to me,
be
okay?
degrading, Yeah.
Be kind to me.
I remember. So I have this really big thing with responsibility, and that's the main thing that I've judged all my friends on. And I remember one time. It wasn't connected to me at all. Like, it wasn't as if, we had some situations, let's say, with responsibility with Ale and me. But one time it wasn't at all connected to me. It was your thing completely.
I think I know what you're gonna say. But I think maybe it was Minerva.
It was a really Minerva thing. And
That's really bad.
yeah, and I was like, I was so invested in it myself. And what happened was, I don't know, I think you were supposed to be there, something, I don't know, something I don't remember the specific, something maybe with the tape? I don't remember exactly, but I remember you were supposed to be somewhere at the time and doing something, and you weren't. And I went crazy. I was just like, within me, I was like, how can someone be so irresponsible? And I was like having this turmoil within me, and I had to leave, and like I went to the park and I took my notebook and I
really?
sat and I sat down.
So sorry.
I didn't do
She said
anything.
that
No,
she took it
that's
so
the thing.
personal.
I know. That's a good apology. That
I'm
you took it
late.
so
She's
personal.
stressing out.
I
for
know.
Like,
Yeah, because I was
I'm your
like,
kid or something.
I had all this like, oh my god, you have to be like this, like you have to be like this, chill. But and that happened, and then I went and I said, I was like, but why am I stressing about it, and why am I judging her so much? Like, she gets to do whatever she wants. If it was involving me, sure, maybe I can say, hey, listen, I am upset, I feel like this, I feel like that. But when it's completely your thing, I was so surprised that day. That's when the switch happened, when I started realizing that something is not right here. And now I've become less responsible. Fuck yeah!
Hell yeah!
And I'm trying to, see how that works. Because balance, right? You can't be like this. But yeah, I remember that happened, and I realized that.
I remember your face.
Oh my
You were
god!
I was like, why? I even asked, like, why do actually you care right now? And then she's like, yeah, actually, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I
for
don't
some
know.
reason but it kind of also makes sense. Maybe you were, it's okay. Maybe you are upset with your friend. If your friend, you're just done with me at this point. Because I've been doing this so many times that at some point when she just like, it's okay. It could be a nice thing, because I kind of accepted that. You told me like, this is just not nice what you're doing. But I was in such a like mental space that I couldn't get that it was not nice. I was just oversleeping everywhere, every time, being late anywhere, and blah blah blah. Everything was kind of in this state. So I think we're in some situation, whatever, like in a specific state that really takes over us. That really influences how we treat reality, how we treat other people. And it's just here actually. Wow.
Yeah, and mine
So
was that,
here-
and yours was yours.
Yeah, you're in completely different
Yeah.
realities, like
Yeah,
dimensions.
yeah, that's true. And I was judging hers, and you probably, I don't know, maybe you were
Doing what
judging
she was
me
doing.
being judging you.
I was just
I love
completely
this. Like, what do
I
you
need to
want
pick up
from
the
me?
tape from the floor. Can you chill? Like, I'm just gonna buy 5 bottles of acetone now to get this shit off for 2 hours or 3 upcoming hours. Like,
I know.
just chill.
Different times. Really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sparked it, and then I realized, I went into the journey to realize I judge myself just as badly about small things, like, oh my god, Nune, how could you have done that? Or like, oh my god, and yeah. So once I started accepting that, hey, I had a problem with responsibility, I couldn't be less responsible, and I was jealous of that. I wish I was sometimes, because sometimes I could be so responsible that it's like stressing me out. Like, I want to have fun. Fuck this bullshit.
That's so true.
You know?
A lot of people, once they go deep into those emotions, they realize like, oh yeah, it could be jealousy that's fueling this thing, because there's a part of you that wishes that you could do that, but you would judge yourself. Like, fuck yeah, I
You would
wanna
judge
be late.
yourself if you would do that. Yeah,
You know?
I want to be late sometimes and feel like I can be late, and not in my head being like, Nune, you cannot be late. It's not a possibility. Otherwise, you're the worst person on this planet. Like, Patricia. You know,
Probably mom.
probably mom. Oh my god.
Or your own voice.
Yeah, I call her Patricia because it's funny.
For me, it's too much of schizophrenia. Yeah, just like, oh my god, the Patricia, this is just. But also, yeah, I think it's in general just schizophrenia, like all this like these parts that we kind of, you know, I'm responsible, I'm irresponsible, I'm good, I am bad. Oh, there is a part that punishing me. Like, how many parts do you have, you
There's
know?
all these voices that are going on, but we don't notice. We just hear this humming of judgment in our head.
Exactly.
We don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, I think it's actually healthy to distinguish them, to give them names, because I mean schizophrenia, like in a joking way, of course it's like not that deep and serious, but it's kind of like a light form of that, you know. It's like that first split that's coming, like, and then you stop seeing the bigger picture. You stop understanding that you can be everything what you want to be without judgment. You can be sometimes this, sometimes that. You are like the one who chooses to be that, you know. Yeah, so
And even with things like schizophrenia or, you know, these really intense disorders, they come from these things, but it's more of a deeper split, because your mind is constantly splitting in order to understand itself. Like, it's a lot, you know. So, but when you have like multiple personalities or schizophrenia, it's just like this huge, like, you know, and you're like, fuck. Then you can really see a big difference between your conscious and your unconscious.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I think I wanted to say that this also might be coming from during a childhood that you weren't not enough allowing was granted to you to be all these kind of things, and you were kind of put in a box. So now, again, the thing with the reality connects, that now you take this box with you everywhere, and you look at people and you're like, oh, does she? No, she doesn't. Bad. Yeah.
It's really subjective, that the badness and the goodness. It's almost like every quality, if you just think about it, every quality that a person has can be like put, and then you can talk about, oh, what's bad about it and what's good about it. As any quality. It was just also such a mind-blowing thing for me when I realized, like, I didn't realize by myself, but I just like read it and I was like, wow, it's really cool concept, you know, like being responsible, for example. It's really good, you're on time, you're treating yourself and other people seriously, but at the same time, what's bad about this? Oh, it can maybe stress you out so much so you don't allow yourself to chill if you're too like responsible, you know. So you have to like give this dynamic.
Yeah,
like,
and even with especially the qualities that we deem bad 100%. Like, for instance, I did this thing, an exercise of writing all of the negative things that I would be scared for someone to call me. A bitch, lazy, I don't know, crazy or something, just a whole list. And then I started doing this practice in my head of being like, I'm a bitch, and then like lowering the quality of the if somebody was to call me a bitch, it would be like, okay, you know, because there can be good things about being a bitch, you know? It gets things done, or it puts you in a position like it's a bit of a masculine energy, but only women are called bitches, so it's just a way of being in your power. But in a way, yeah. But there's a benefit to everything. But each of these things are baseline neutral, and we're the ones who give it the connotation that it is. And then we get so scared of being a bitch, and we're like, and then we judge people for being bitches.
Who wants tea?
There was something I wanted to add to it,
Please.
like based on my own experience with this particular subject, like my journey with it. And it started because of this realization that all relationships are mirrors, like we've been talking about. You know? We see ourselves in others and then we judge it. But in general, I just had this huge revelation, like, oh my god, all relationships are just mirrors. Like I'm just in a relationship with me all the time. I'm just seeing me in this other person. I was like, oh my god, you know.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Fuck. And so then I started this practice of, okay, every time I'm looking at this person, I'm just seeing me. It's me that I'm talking to, especially using it as like a meditation alarm. If there's a negative association that's come up for me, how am I seeing me in this, and how am I judging myself in this? Or when I'm seeing, or I'm feeling loving feelings, it's actually because I'm seeing something within myself that I enjoy as well. Like,
I have a question here, because I actually had like problems with understanding this again. Like others are mirrors of you, but how I understand this, what you are saying, that when, for example, somebody expressing you love, or maybe you see something that you don't like in somebody, it just means that this person kind of shows you what did you just translate it to him and what you get back, right? And or for example, what you cannot accept in you, for example, right? That's what it means.
That's
right?
what it means.
Okay.
Yes, because like let's say, even with the positive feelings like love, they're not giving me anything, you know. Like if I feel loving feelings about you, you're just sitting there, you're living your life, you're just existing. These feelings are coming up from me, within my body, in my brain, you know. I'm experiencing, you're just the catalyst of that reaction, but it's love that is being generated because of me, you know.
But also because she's showing you something that I
like.
You see, and you're like,
that gives me warmth, you know, that I connect to, that I relate to.
You relate to.
Right.
That's an important
that
word.
makes me feel safe.
Exactly. The relation.
So it really blew my mind. I'm just seeing different versions of me walking around. But it can be very tricky when I'm like really upset with someone, or I'm in a really intense, like, or if I'm like, I hate this person, then I have to go, fuck. What is it about this? Because you don't want to see, you know, the hate's coming from like a really rejection of something about yourself that maybe you don't even know that you're rejecting. I've had really intense moments about this, and it can be really intense for people who are like let's say they discriminate against others, or they're racist, or Hitler, and I'm like, fuck, how is that me? Or how am I judging something within me that I'm seeing reflected in this? So it's a really intense practice.
I just wanted to like say that I had like some troubles with understanding that as well, with just not seeing what kind of reflection, what do you mean, like for me it was like a universal more comment of like we are all kind of one, but at the same time we are separate, you know. You are not like me and I'm not you, but at the same time, but you meant it by like seeing the reflection of you again, right, in those people, or you can maybe it can direct you like in a nice way, right, so you can maybe see what you have to heal or what you have to point, make your attention to, probably, right?
I can also see from both perspectives of the we're all one unity, but also in our individual perspectives, we are in our own universe. Like even though we're in this room together, we're in three separate universes together in some way. So I can only see things from me. Everything is being generated from me, as far as I can tell. So when I'm experiencing something in my reality, it's because of something within me. Because in general, everything is neutral. It's just this pure expression. But if I'm getting either good feedback or negative feedback from any experience, even if it's the experience of a person or a situation, it's me. Then I'm just like, oh fuck, you know, it's
basically it's my values that are tinting the experience. It's my my values, my beliefs that are. It's like we wear them as glasses, and they tint the experience, so they make it good or bad.
And then what we're doing when we're judging people or trying to correct the outside is like, there's this analogy of cleaning. You're seeing yourself in a mirror, and you have like marks on your face, and then you're trying to wipe it off by wiping the mirror. So that's what everybody's doing, instead of being like, oh fuck,
my own face.
You know, and then it will change in front of me.
Yeah, true. So change yourself and the world around you kind of changes, right?
And I noticed when I start having a more compassionate perspective, because I'm being compassionate towards myself, just doing that inner work. I'm like, oh wow, the world is so beautiful, it's becoming so beautiful. No, it's just the perspective that's changing. It was always like that, but or it could have always been like that, but I had to make it. That's why there's also this thing, if you want to change the world, you have to change yourself first. That's the only thing that will help.
It's gonna be one person, shittiest person less, you know. It's like, let me just work on myself, my shit, you know. Why am I trying to change somebody else? It's fucking violent, you know. I also heard this really nice. Thank you for your explanation. It's like I see a different perspective now, and. I just read in my also course that I'm doing now of communication. There was a really nice sentence that I was like, fuck, this is it, you know. It's like everybody has different map for the same place, you know. Like it was so cool. I was like, yes, fucking, it's so real, you know. We can see one place, but we all will see differently. We will all experience it differently. So we have this one specific place, but we all have different maps to that, you know, because this is how we perceive or experience or associate and all that. And I was like, it's just about like accepting that part and also coming back to this accepting others. Like for me personally, I think I have not learned to accepting others completely. Sometimes it can be less harsh, like sometimes it can be more less harsh. Sometimes it can be a bit struggle for me. But I think it's like almost also, I figure out it's about realizing that everyone is so unique, like who is coming into your life, just everyone, you know, everyone on this planet, everyone is so unique. So it's about recognizing that and maybe seeing that, even if I don't like that person, he has some kind of a mission, you know, he has to fulfill in this world, you know. So, and I maybe don't know about this mission, but whatever. But if I just like recognize that, it's like, it has a place to be, you know. Everything kind of has a place to be, like unless it's super harmful or violent to you or your surroundings or to somebody there, then you maybe have to do something about it. But until that point, it's chill, you know. It's just, I think, much lighter to live like that, you know, because it just takes so much pressure from your brain. Like, oh fuck, we all actually are different, and maybe instead of fighting, we can just acknowledge that and be like, but why do you think like that? Just tell me your story. What makes you think like that? And then say, oh nice, do you want to hear my perspective? Because in my story it's a bit different, you know. And then you can have like this conversation without like fights or like these frictions, you know. And it's just a bit more fun. It's a dream. That's a dream.
That's so beautiful. What you just said. Also, the way that you said it, I really like. Oh my God, everyone has a place to be. It's like, wow. Okay.
Super.
Let's just let them be there.
That's also a nice reminder to keep having. Like I also forget this, you know. That there is no correct route, you know. Everybody's direction of working and expressing, and it's all good. It's all supposed to be there. That's why it's there.
Exactly. It's all those colors, you know, those of rainbow, like different whatever spectrum. That's really cool. You don't have to like come in contact with all of them. You just have to let them be and just accept like it's okay. It's there for a reason, for some reason. Maybe I don't get it yet, but it's there, you know.
Some part
like
of
that.
like accepting people is also accepting that you don't necessarily have to come in contact so close with them, but you can just let them be from afar.
Or just fucking quit, you know. If you're like judging somebody of your friend like that, like I had some like things like, it's my friend, but also I really don't like this thing about this friend. Like I really cannot stand this shit, is so annoying. Then just take a fucking distance. Really. Just maybe appreciate some side that you connect with, but in the end, maybe it's good to take a distance, you know. If you didn't learn like to be Jesus yet, like don't try to be, you know. Like
it's the same thing that you don't have to be so close. It's okay. There's as long as it's like healthy kind of. That's the healthy boundary when you are aware that. Okay, I understand I'm judging something, and I understand that I've looked inside of me and I see that okay, I've looked at it,
Yeah.
but I still feel bothered by this thing. You know,
Yes.
I can't really accept it. And that's gonna happen, especially let's say if it's bigger ideas such as, I don't know, if how you think about, I don't know, how to treat people, let's say, or something like that. I don't know, a small
Yeah.
example. So you just have to be like, you know what, I looked at it, I understand, and I need to keep the distance,
Yeah.
because it just really doesn't make sense to me. That's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to leave people.
Like, for instance, I think my relationship with my family has become more, you know,
Yeah,
I'm-
because of the distance.
because of the
Oh, so important with
distance,
family.
yeah.
Take all the loving
Yeah.
distance.
I'm able to understand them more now that I am able to step away from it more and see it from afar, like, instead of really being in it, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. So we said, okay, you look into yourself, you see what you are judging, if it's within you, if you're either suppressing it or if you want more of it. Yeah, it could be both ways. And,
Yeah, trying to understand it.
trying to understand it.
Because it is a matter of compassion, but compassion can only come from understanding. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is really cool. Can I share this exercise? Like this exercise I learned in my therapy course that I did like last year, but it's just like a tiny part of it. It's the one that I told you a few days ago. It's part of a therapeutic kind of method, but it's something I think you can do on your own. For example, if you have like a conflict with somebody, or maybe you have a conflict with some of your inner parts, like being, for example, responsible or irresponsible. I think you kind of know also maybe the technique, because I think you did something to her similar. And when she told me about that, I was like, oh nice, that's also what I kind of know. But it's about putting those two parts or two people in front of each other.
Oh,
yeah. It's so nice, because if you have a conflict, for example, you put yourself and you put that person in front of you, and then you just you look at that person that you have a conflict with, and you just feel everything that's coming, you know, on your surface.
So you take that person, like you act as if you are that person.
No, first yourself.
Right? Yeah, first yourself and then the other person. If it's the other person, if it's you, it's you.
Yeah, so it's about just feeling of what you're experiencing towards that person, and then becoming him, and then it's still not that person, just your perspective of that person, and it might be whatever, you know, in your head, so but you're still becoming him, and you're feeling what that person feels towards you. You know, and you're presenting all this like in front, like, okay, this is what I feel. And then in the end you can stand in between those two parties, so in the middle of them, and you can just feel like what that you became right now, that connection between those two people or those two sides. And then you just can feel what is this connection wants, you know, because now you are not that person, but you can really let like yourself feel of what is it about. Is there something you know left between those two people? Is there something maybe we have to clear out? And then maybe you get some insights usually during this process, and then kind of some directions as well. Really nice. It's like looking beyond all those emotions, all those things you got through, and just becoming this like energy that brings them together, you know. And what does energy want, you know?
And you can do it with yourself also when you're in conflict with yourself.
I do it with myself. This is my method.
I do it all the time, like I'm talking to myself in the kitchen when I'm pissed off about something, or I'm conflicted about something. I'm just like, and sometimes I'll stand in a different part of the kitchen, I'll start talking, and I'll stand in another part of the kitchen, I'll start talking.
Schizophrenia. It's okay to have it, like.
So it even shows with these things like schizophrenia. It's like a healthy way that your body is trying to.
It's a healthy schizophrenia.
To help you, you know, to understand these things by splitting.
Nice.
Yeah. Mic drop.
How would you like to conclude?
When you are having a hard time accepting someone as they are, it has to do much more about you rather than them.
There's even this saying, if you can spot it, you got it.
Oh shit, son! That was a really good saying.
Hell yeah.
Say it again.
If you can spot it, you got it.
Yeah,
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
that's nice. Yes, like half program is already done just by you realizing it, right? Because then you're gonna do the moves, I guess. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that's the reality. That's the truth of it. It's just really we need something to happen to bring awareness into that. Hopefully, I don't know, something like that has happened to you. If not, then now is the time. Take our talk here as
Yeah.
an inspiration to look at that.
And I think this is one of the very big things that if people are aware of, if they practice like compassion for themselves and then compassion for others, the world will just transform into such a beautiful place.
It's even in the small things. Like sometimes you're biking or someone is in the car and someone does the wrong turn, and the first thing is like, piece of shit, Papa! And what does you shout at them? And in Cyprus they do that a lot. They just shout at you. And it's interesting to think what would happen if they realize those things, like, because also we're humans, we're gonna make mistakes, we're gonna be, I don't know, the negative things, let's say, whatever, even though it's subjective. So when someone is being like that, how compassionate can we be? And that's a reflection of how compassionate we are to ourselves. And so it's easier to accept those things. It's easier to accept when someone is being a certain way, because you understand, oh, that's me. Oh, actually, that's how I would like to conclude. There's this book that I started reading. It's called Conversations with God. Weird book.
Weird book?
Yeah. But the author, what's his name? Neil Norla? Something. Anyway, he says that there's this exercise that he does, that he goes outside into the world, and as he's like, everything that he encounters, even the trash on the floor, everything, he just looks at it and says, I am that.
Yes.
I am that.
Hell yeah.
I am that. I am that. So it's the idea that, to build compassion, like, oh, I am you.
Yeah.
So when you are the way that, a certain way, how will I react to that? I will be nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a different.
Boom.
I feel like that's a whole other podcast, to be honest with you. Like compassion on self. Being compassionate to yourself. I really feel like
I feel like everything goes back to that. So
that's a big one to talk about.
Again and again. Yeah.
It's really nice one to go deeper into, to really get.
Yeah, although I think that expressing anger is also okay. Like if you just express anger, but like in an ecological way, you're like in your car. Yeah, you just have to release that anger, you cannot just be all the time like haha, because at some point you're gonna be cuckoo or something.
No, you can't do that. No, that's the difference. Expressing it, you can express, but the minute that someone else is involved and you go to them, you're like, you're a piece of shit, fuck you. That's different. That's not ecological. But I like the word that you say, ecological way of expressing. That's interesting.
Thank you for this conversation.
Yeah. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for inviting us to letting us invade.
Letting us invade.
Invade.
This cozy place.
Yes.
And we had a beautiful conversation, I think. Okay, bye. Bye. Mic drop. Where's the mic drop? Subscribe to Facing Love for more. Thank you for watching.
This is Facing Love. They're trying to get in my personal space and feeling really uncomfortable, but I think I will manage. I think they will relax me because they're really sweet smelling people. I don't know. Why are you so close? I'm feeling so strange. Please, can you? Okay, maybe it's actually on purpose. I'm trying to accept you in personal space.
Yeah, let's do that with
Like this? That was a very